Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Carter and this is
me.
Guys, it's Nick. First of all, I'm so excited, guys. This is been a long time coming. We have officially been on YouTube for 1 year. Yay! Guys, I'm super excited. First, I just want to say thank you guys for following our journey. We're still on the journey, but thank you guys for following it every step of the way, watching all of our videos, giving us encouraging words. I remember starting this YouTube channel just to have a release, guys. Just a release from what happened to us in April 2016. So this video is pretty much just to celebrate us being on YouTube for 1 year, and also to just talk about that tragic few days, and just to not really replay what happened, but just to talk about it as a release. And since this is coming up on the 3rd year, well, it's actually going to be the 3rd year that we've been trying since our ectopic pregnancy, it's just kind of like just a release and then just let it go. I know it's not going to be non-existent, but just releasing it. Like, we've talked about therapy, we've talked about how we need to talk about it more, and how we're probably still dealing with it, and how we haven't really fully dealt with it, because I kind of shut down during the time and Nick didn't really know how to deal with it. So this is just our time to relive those moments, to talk about it and release. So if you are definitely interested in our story, stay tuned. Alright guys, so we are back, and I just want to warn you guys that this is still kind of an emotional story for us. I feel like we're in a good place, but just to talk about it, it has actually been a while. So just to start the story off, I do remember just one day Nick and I just chilling, being in the bed, and I just realized, like, hey, I haven't been on my cycle. I asked Nick if he remembered if I had, because we had just really been going through a lot with my uncle being sick and traveling back and forth. But he was just like, no, I don't think you have. So that's when I checked my app, and for sure I was a few days late. And so I was like, oh well, this has happened before, so we'll just kind of wait and see how the next few days play out. And so on that Thursday, we was going to test. And so I remember buying a test, and I was like so nervous, because I'm like, man, as many times I've taken tests, it's gonna be a negative, but I had never been that many days late. And I was cramping like I was about to come on my cycle, but nothing ever happened. I remember just checking every time, and nothing was coming down. So I remember at 4:30 in the morning, it was April 6th, 4:30 in the morning, and I went in the bathroom and I just prayed. I just prayed before I took the test, and I was like, God, like, if this is your will, let it be. Like, I just really didn't have any expectations at that time. Just let it be. And for sure, I took the test. I put it inside the shower and closed the shower curtain, because I was just waiting. I never told you that part, but I was just waiting because I was nervous.
Now you find the news out, now I'm finding the news out.
I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. So then I was like, okay. So I looked, and guys, it was a very faint line. And I have like a picture that I'm gonna insert, but it was a very faint line. I was so excited. I could not believe it. I didn't cry or nothing. I guess I was just in disbelief. So I just thank God right then and there. And then I shot a video. And it was
came up front.
Yeah. So
and woke me about my shit.
But you didn't really wake up. So guys, like, I was like, babe, like, we're pregnant. And he was like, huh? I was like, we're pregnant. And then he was just like, okay. He was so tired. So then the next morning he was like, babe, did you really say that we was pregnant? And I was like, yes, like, it actually happened. So guys, we was like on top of the moon. And I remember taking a test the next day just to be sure that, it was still showing positive. And sure enough, it was. And so it was just like the best feeling in the world, because we wasn't even trying. We had given up on trying, and it was just the best feeling in the world. such a best feeling in the world that we could not hold water. Like, we just got like this glow about ourselves and smiles and everything to our friends, like, what's going on? What's going on? So, like, we told, who'd you tell first? Did you tell Chanel?
No, I told Anthony.
You told Anthony? You couldn't have. So you told Anthony before? So I guess we was just telling our, personal friends or whatever. I remember telling my friend Nikita, we was in a Mexican restaurant. I told her, I was like, you gonna be an auntie? And she like screamed so loud and told everybody in the Mexican restaurant. And then we ended up seeing Brittany that evening. And
That was Saturday.
yeah, no, that was all the same day because I had saw Nikita before. But anyways.
So that was on a Saturday though.
Yeah, so it was on a Saturday. So pretty much they was like, what's going on? Like, y'all just acting weird. And we was like, should we tell them? And we ended up telling them. It was so excited. So we went out and we celebrated the day. We celebrated everything about the day, just telling our friends. We were so excited. We did not tell our parents yet because we wanted to get, solid confirmation. And they were scheduling my appointment out. How long? It was like a month later. They wanted me to be like so many weeks
6 weeks
before they would even check me.
You were already further along than what we thought.
Yeah. So the day went by good. Like, everything was good. And then like that Sunday, the dreadful day, that Sunday I was cramping, and it was like light cramps, but then I started like light bleeding. And so, you know how we are, we go on to Google and we're just putting all this stuff in, like, what does this mean if you have such and such? So I saw it and I thought, oh, well, it's still implantation bleeding. I didn't know how far along I was. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know nothing about what to expect. So I'm just like, oh, well, it's just implantation bleeding. But Nick had told his sister, and she was like, as the bleeding started to pick up, she's like, y'all need to go to the emergency room. So I was like, man, I think it's okay. But Nick was like, we need to go to the emergency room. So we went, and that's when everything just started trickling down the pipeline, and it just got worse after worse. And so we went in there, and so they're doing blood tests and stuff, and they're like, yeah, for sure you're pregnant. Your score, not your score, but your HCG level was pretty high.
It was too high just to be
like a month. Yeah. And so then they started to do the ultrasound, and one thing I noticed is they had the ultrasound like screen turned away, so I couldn't see it, but I knew for sure, like, oh my God, we get to actually see the baby. Like, we was so excited, but we was nervous at the same time, like, why I'm bleeding, because they was like, oh, well, this is sometimes normal, or some women have some bleeding. So we're thinking like, oh, okay, well, you're just bleeding and we'll figure it out. It's nothing too serious. And so that's when they was like, well, how far along are you? And was like, we don't know. This is the day that I last had my cycle. So they started calculating everything, and they did not hear a heartbeat, and then they didn't see a sac either, right? Yeah, they didn't see a sac either. So I think they did like 2 ultrasounds.
I did one stomach and one.
Yeah, and vaginal. And then they was just like really being quiet. Like, they left out. The doctor came in, and did she tell us could be like an ectopic?
She said she didn't see anything yet, and they wanted to give you a few days, so they transferred you to
Centennial.
St. Thomas Women's, Centennial Women's, or whatever.
Centennial Women's.
Centennial Women's, and took you in for a longer term, and they were gonna monitor your levels as the days progress, because if the pregnancy was viable, from what they said, the pregnancy was viable. As days go on, you get further along in pregnancy, your levels are supposed to go higher. Yours bottomed out at a point where they just stay steady at a point.
Well, they raised a little bit, but not. I think
enough
it's supposed to triple or something like, or double or triple or something like that, and it wasn't happening. They was coming in, taking blood.
You did like what, 3 ultrasounds?
Yeah, they did ultrasounds every single day, and the doctor was just like, at that time they was like, from my numbers, it was like, I think I was scheduled at like, or estimated at like 8 weeks at that point. And so they were like doing all kind of blood tests every day, doing all kind of ultrasounds and just looking. And at this time, I'm just like praying, like, please, like, little baby, if you are anywhere in there, reveal yourself, because they was really just like scaring us. I remember just in the bathroom, like praying, like, and listening to this song called, I think it's Speaking to the Atmosphere, like, just praying, like, hoping that this child would show up so that they wouldn't have to, you know, move forward with anything, because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what was going on. I never heard of ectopic pregnancy, did you?
Mm-mm.
Never heard of it until that day.
Heard about miscarriage,
but not ectopic pregnancy. And so then, you know, the doctor, she was even hopeful for us, because she was just like, I just want to give it another day. Let's wait another day. And so, like, after that second day, she was like, you know, this is
Because we went in on Sunday, and it was Thursday when,
was it Thursday?
yeah, we were there for about pretty much almost a week.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, we was.
It was like 3 days.
Thursday.
Well, it doesn't matter about the day, but all I know is on that third day, she was just like, guys, like, we're not seeing anything, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. And so she was like, it's, you know, almost definite that this is a tubal pregnancy, and keeping.
There's no way to show imaging of the tubes to actually see the sac maturing in the tubes, but because it's not in the uterine lining, it's more than likely in the tubes. And if she went further along with the pregnancy and it started to mature, she risked rupturing her tubes, or rupturing the tubes, or damaging her ovaries if she continued along. So they gave us a choice, you know. If she further went along with the pregnancy and she wanted to wait, they were gonna have to do surgery and surgically remove the baby from the tubes, or take the shot to dissolve the pregnancy.
I was willing to wait it out even longer, and I asked her, I begged her, I was like, can we just wait a few more days? Like, I'm sure, you know, it'll show up in a few days. And she was just like, we can't, like, we just can't. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it, because she said that have the surgery or take the methotrexate shot. And so she talked to us about the shot and told us, like, what happens and how the process would be. And I was like, I'm not doing it.
Methotrexate dissolves growth. So a baby implanting or anything like that is considered a growth, and methotrexate dissolves that growth.
There's also a cancer medication too.
Cancer treatment. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not doing it. And so the doctor was like, you know, I was like, well, I just want to go home and wait it out. And she was like, well, no, we can't let you leave here without, you know, doing something or treating this. And I'm just like, I ain't doing it. I'm just ready to check me out.
Yeah.
So she was just like, well, I'll give you guys a few minutes. And so Nick was just like, you have to do this. Like, there is no baby if there's no you. And
like, let's get it clear. Thinking back on it now, let me just say this. Thinking back on it now and hearing some of the stories that I heard lately, where some women have experienced the same thing, and, you know, days later the baby actually goes where it's supposed to, you know, maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea to wait. But I'm so protective of my wife, you know, in a heartbeat, in a million years, if you put me in that situation and told me I had to choose between that and my wife, I'm choosing my wife every single time. No question asked, because there is no family without her. I don't want to see or know what it is like to have a family without this woman. So I'm going to choose her over a baby every time. But, you know, don't get it twisted. You know, I want to be a dad and everything, but, you know, I came in this world without kids. I married this woman without kids. And, you know, my wife's future hinged on that. So I was in such a panic that, the doctor told me that she could risk, fatal injuries. And I was like, oh, well, that's all I needed to hear. That was all I needed to hear.
It was like the worst. Like, I don't know. If, to me, it almost felt like going to Planned Parenthood and just saying to abort this baby. Like, that's what that felt like to me. And like when she brought those shots in, because I had to get two, I'm just like,
it's okay. We all have to, we all aren't exempt from things that are designed to destroy you emotionally. That's the one really funny thing about life is that when you're born, nobody really ever tells you that, life is gonna send you something so unfair, so hurtful that, you and yourself at that moment don't know how you gonna deal with it. How you gonna figure this out? How you gonna rise above this? Sometimes you find yourself asking, what is God seeing in you for him to declare that you're strong enough to deal with this? And, I find myself questioning sometimes, I'm not supposed to, so don't get it twisted. I'm still only human at the end of the day. But my grandma was this big preacher on God never puts more on you than you can bear. At that time in my life, I'm figuring out, I'm asking, well, you must see something that I don't even understand, because right now, this don't seem like I'm strong enough to handle it. And at the time, I didn't think I could, but what I'm learning is that I don't know what anybody else is gonna go through, but I know everybody in this world is gonna face something so extreme, so huge, and it's so much bigger than you, so much stronger than you, and you faced with a choice. You can give up and fold and go off and be whatever it is that you want to be, or you can choose to dig in and stand your ground. But be prepared for when you say you're going to stand your ground and weather the storms that God has for you to endure. Be prepared for what you're asking for. Because at that moment, it don't mean that everything's going to be all rainbows and sunshine. What you asking for is for God to take you through the struggles, the successes that He has outlined for you. And that road is dark and treacherous. And it's not easy, and it's painful. It's gonna break your heart. It's gonna make you cry. It's gonna make you want to quit. But pressure makes diamonds, and God makes saints. So
I think that was like the hardest part, just feeling like
telling somebody to kill your baby.
Yeah, like I just felt like it was the hardest part. Just it felt like an abortion. It felt like laying there, getting those shots, knowing that, day by day, this baby is dying, like no longer growing, and we was praying for this child. We had plans, from before we was married, like this is what's gonna happen, this is what our goals are, and who knew that it would happen within 6 months of us being married. So all of these things just like going through my head as I'm sitting here getting this medicine, this foreign medicine I've never heard about, dealing with an ectopic pregnancy that I don't know nothing about, all this stuff, everything happening so fast, and just not even having enough time to even think about if we're making the right decision. that's not even enough time to even pray about it and just be like, okay, God, we're waiting on an answer. And y'all know if y'all are some prayers, sometimes the answer doesn't come right away. So I feel like in all the things that I've had to endure in life, even though sometimes I'd be like, man, like trying to have a baby, trying to, get pregnant again is the hardest thing that I've ever had to endure. Like, no, that pretty much having that, getting that medicine to terminate the pregnancy was the hardest thing that I ever had to go through. I don't know about Nick. I'm sure it was hard for him too because he was trying to be strong. I shut down. I don't remember talking for days. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to read no Bible. It was just like mad and angry at God. Like, how could you let this happen? Why would you let this happen? Like, and why would you give this to us? Give this child to us that we prayed for, just to snatch it away? Like, we only got to be happy for a few days and share with our friends, and now we gotta tell our friends that pregnancy is over or it's done. Pretty much we had to terminate the pregnancy. Now we gotta tell, our friends that. And not only that, we had to tell our parents that knew nothing was going. They didn't even know what was going on. So we had to tell them like, oh yeah, we was pregnant and now this is happening. So everybody pretty much was in the dark.
Miss Faye had to bring your mom up there, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like Nick couldn't even in the hospital, like Nick was trying to call people and like, hey, can you come up here? He couldn't even talk because he was crying so bad. Like we both were and we couldn't even talk. Like it was that tragic, like brokenhearted. And so I don't know. I just felt like we was just stripped of,
Cause
something.
for me, it was one of them things where, I done had to get everything I done got out the mud. Like I done came from the bottom of it all. And when I met Michelle, I had came from losing everything, my house, my car. And I ain't afraid to admit that, the realest people in the world go through losing and gains throughout their path to success. So I ain't no exempt from that. So on my path to success, I'm going to lose and I'm going to gain, but I learned. But I had bounced back strong from that loss. And I had reached this point in my life I hadn't reached before. And, I'm thinking from here, I know I'm not exempt from pain, but, I know I'm going to be prepared for whatever. But I didn't, like I said, be prepared for what you asked for. Little did I know that this was going to be the bump on my journey. And so the hardest thing for me during the process was just the fact that I have nobody to rely on but my wife. But at that time, my wife was so broken, I could not add on to that, to the fact that I was broken. So I had to hold on to that, and I had to chalk that up and be as strong as I could for her. And I want to say about 6 months ago is when I really fully realized the extent of how much I was hurt from that.
I would agree.
It's
Around
been
the time
years.
when we had our first, what was it, our second IUI?
Yeah, second IUI. That was like the first time I had realized, how much damage how much damage had been done to me mentally. I was always raised to believe that you gotta put that groundwork in, and then God blesses that groundwork. And what I've come to learn is that God's timing is never your own. And as a human being, that is so hard to understand. It's so hard to understand and so hard to accept that something's gonna happen that you can't even see. You can't see it yet, but it's in the air. It's in the existence. That energy is around you. You know, that spoke this. But, when you done went through a loss, trying to believe that everything else gonna work out ain't easy. So for me, I feel like it's gonna happen now. But I feel like that I'm at a point now in this process to where I'm okay with the timetable, because I understand one valuable thing about God is a on time God, and then realizing that I've realized that over the past 4 months that my timing was always wrong. God's timing was always right. And that's just from the stuff that's happened to me recently. So, realizing that it contradicts the natural feeling that you have. God done brought you this far, gave you this much, or bounced you back from something so tragic. What make you think he ain't gonna do that? He ain't gonna bring you through this. But naturally you want to be like, man, I don't see that. But for right now, and just at that point in time, it was just one of them things where, she's broken, I'm broken, but I can't show it. I gotta be 100. I gotta be good. I can't really be broke down. So I went to work. I came home. I checked on my wife every day. And it was hard seeing somebody you pretty much want to spend your life with. You love, you built your foundation on protecting this lady. And it's hard to see somebody so broken that you love so much. And knowing that there's nothing you could do, it makes you feel helpless. And if you a real man, I don't care what none of you say. If you can't help your wife or your significant other or the person you love the most in this world, if you can't help them when they at their worst, it makes you feel horrible. And at that point, that's what I felt. But I'm good now. I'm better now. I'm better for it now. I've accepted that God's timing is supreme, and I'm okay with that. In the meantime, while I wait on God to make His presence and His will aware, I'm gonna serve Him. I'm gonna serve Him in His will, and I'm gonna be happy with my wife where we currently are, with the assurance that God is still working. So, that's just where I'm at with everything.
Well, leave it to you to give us.
Ain't no sermon. Now, please don't go to that. Ain't no sermon. I'm just saying it's like a life thing. It's like a life lesson. Like,
that was definitely a lesson. Like, I don't know. I guess that's when your faith really comes in. And that's one thing that we both kind of struggled with for a little while, But I think that our faith is getting better, for all my TTC couples. Like, you're hopeful and you're prayerful every month. Like, okay, well, we're doing this, we're doing that, and you hope that it's gonna work. And then sometimes those months you get those letdowns, and it's hard. Some hurt worse than the other, but you just keep going. Like,
yeah,
I feel my heart goes out to anybody that has to go through this, because most of the people, like miscarriages and also with ectopic pregnancy, like soon as you find out, like if you're about to miscarry, like guarantee, like within the next 2-3 days, like things are going so fast that it's over before you can even accept it, or really get excited and tell somebody it's over just that quick. And so even though the tears come and sad, like I'm grateful for that opportunity, because I know for at least 6 months I remember talking to Brittany and just like, what type of woman am I gonna be, if I can't have a baby? Like, Nick's young, he can find somebody else that will give him a baby, but like,
that would never ever happen.
I know, but I'm just like, just from past relationships, being with somebody that had a baby, I just like, how good am I gonna be to him if I can't give him the one thing that he wants the most? Because when I met Nick, I wasn't thinking about no babies. Like, I was like, oh, well, if it comes, it comes, but I'm happy with my goddaughter. I'm happy with my nieces and nephews. I was good, but here he come like, I want to be a father one day. I want my own kids, And I was like, okay, so it was taking so long.
The one thing I wanted the most was you.
But you wanted a kid too.
Yeah, that was like
That was gonna be the extra. So you just wanted
that
the
was
extra.
that was like I had to get the cake first. I couldn't just. I don't like just icing. Icing makes you diabetic. I don't want the cake first. I need some substance, some texture. That was what you want.
Well, you got that first.
Yeah, I got that first, and then the baby thing was cool.
So.
But to this day, the greatest thing that has ever happened to me was you. It wasn't. You know, I could have before I met you. I could have easily had a kid with any woman, but that wasn't the plan for me. The plan for me was to meet you first, and you know that's cool. That's cool, but like I witnessed so much strength in you. It's just one of them things to where you know I just want to tell you like you enjoyed it. Not enjoy that hurt, but let that hurt. Let your pain. Don't let your pain be the one thing that will keep you from everything else that's waiting on the other side of that struggle. Because at the end of pain is glory. At the end of pain is glory. But pain is always going to be before glory because you never get glory the easy way. All the success, that's why if you look at it, there's this small percentage of players that make it to the NBA and NFL. Because there's going to be some people that are going to be weeded out along the process.
Yeah.
And you ain't one of them people that's just going to be weeded out. And that just go for anybody that's going through that. If you trying to conceive and you've been through where we are, miscarriage, it don't matter if you haven't even conceived yet. And it's hurting you that you haven't. I encourage you to weather that pain, to face that and stand your ground because you'll be surprised at the person that pain is gonna birth, man. You'll be surprised. And like at this point, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at who she is today. Like when I met her, I used to be the guy that was praying every day and let's read the Bible. That's her now. You know, and it's not to say that I done got away from God. That's just to say that I met a woman who could pick up in an area when I fall off in it. And you know, so that connection to God is always there for me. And through the prayers of her. So, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't through her prayers. So I encourage everybody that's watching, no matter what pain you're dealing with, no matter what pain, I mean, whether it's trying to conceive or whether whatever it is in your life that you want for yourself, you know, if there's an obstacle in your way, if there's a struggle, if there's some kind of hurt, man, face that.
And it may not be easy, but
it ain't never gonna be easy. No.
Just keep going, like, especially if you're trying to conceive, like, just rely on each other. A lot of times, and for a long time, for about a year, me and Nick, we didn't rely on each other.
Nah, we didn't.
He dealt with it his way, and I dealt with it my way, but
I deal with like a typical guy. I hold that shit in.
Yeah.
I hold that shit in, don't let it go.
And I didn't know until we did our second IUI, and I was like, oh, well, you know, it's negative, or I started my cycle before it was time, and I never seen or heard Nick ever in my life. In 6 years we've been together, cry the way that he did. And that hurt my heart because I'm like, what the hell is this coming from? Like, all this time we've been getting negative pregnancy tests, and you just, oh, you know, babe, well, we'll try next time, or, you know, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that, and, you know, just give it some time.
I saw people getting pregnant that, for me, I just saw people getting pregnant that didn't want kids. And then I look around my community and I see kids being born in a condition so horrible, and to daddies that don't want. Two people right here that, you know, I won't ever, the only way I won't be in my child's life is 6 feet deep. That's the only way I won't be there. But I ain't never running from no kid though, you know. That to me, that's sucker to me. You know, to run from a blessing, because if you get a son or a daughter, it don't matter. That's like a calling. That's like a prestigious privilege God bestowed upon you to say, hey, I see something in you to where you can affect change in a young person's life. And for me, I hadn't got there yet. So for me at that time, I saw all these people getting babies that was just walking out and didn't want them. I was like, man, I had it. I had it at that point. I was so upset. I was like, I started screaming. But you know, I had to let that out though. I had to let that out because it was really messing me up. So
yeah, so definitely like rely on each other, talk about it, and don't keep things to yourself. My bishop has been talking about faith. He's been doing like a series on the faith clinic and, you know, things to do to grow your faith and how to maintain. And one of the things that he said on Sunday was when God takes something away, he gives you better. He blesses you with even greater. Like, so when that blessing comes, which our child comes, I hope that we have twins. So that we can get it
one
over
and
with.
Done, son.
Two.
One and done.
We just need to go ahead and have
this
two.
process is a little bit too much.
I know, so
one
why
and
not?
Done. When that little baby come around, boy, do you know how much money it costs to get you here, little guy?
That's okay. Like I just, you know, I'm happy with whatever God blesses us with because we've been waiting and we're ready. But I just feel like if God gives
good
us,
that came out of that though.
what?
During these 3 years, I've learned to build a foundation with you as far as for a stable marriage.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in the beginning, that first year was kind of
There was too much going on.
Man.
Like, it was just too much. It was too much going
boy.
on. So
Michelle hit me in the first 6 months.
don't be,
She put her hands on me.
listen, don't be telling them that. No, I didn't.
You know
Anyway,
what?
guys.
Oh, now she wanna have me. But I was like Whitney Houston with shades on when Bobby Brown walked out the coffee shop.
No, he wasn't, guys. He lied. I didn't put my hand on him.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? Hey, bro, what's up, man?
It didn't get that bad.
Yeah, but I learned to build that, like, I would say, like, from where we were in that year, in that first 6 months, and where we are now, we still have our issues, you know, what marriage doesn't, but
Right.
the foundation I'm standing on now, I feel much secure on. And so I say that it's all the married couples or non-married couples. During your waiting time, it is a really good idea to invest in the relationship with you two. Go on some dates, some trips, you know, definitely get you some of that cut time in quite a bit, you know.
What's cut time?
You know, sex, the skins.
All right, so our vlog is
the
getting
ass.
a very long, you know. So guys, we have learned a lesson from this
Smack.
to, you know,
I'm
definitely.
gonna give me some after this.
No, he's not. Definitely, you know, seek God through this process. Keep the faith, and then also we have learned to rely on each other and to, you know, be there for one another. And I just pray that God will give us double for our trouble. Which, if we only get one, I'm
gonna
happy
need
with
some
that.
bubbles for my troubles.
I'll give you a glass of wine or something. But guys, like, thank you so much for listening to our story. I know this video is hella long, but thank you so much for watching our story. I hope that our story helps somebody.
She gonna cut this down. Make a video.
I hope this helps somebody that's going through and to be able to, you know, deal with the process. And, you know, it's going to take time to, you know, get past it. But anyways, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully we will put this story to rest, and hopefully soon we'll have our rainbow baby or babies, and we'll start a new journey. Anything else you want to say?
1,
2. All right, guys.
we not counting down.
2. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hey man, like, share, subscribe, and get on with this ride.